Are you, your kids, or a parent, or someone you know wondering, is college tuition worth it? Are you contemplating whether or not you should go for that big tuition, maybe that Ivy League school, that name brand school, or not? Trust me, I've been there. My name is Karla Dennis, and I am a mother of four who had to go through these exact same scenarios that you might be thinking. That is why in this video, I am going to break down for you whether or not college is worth it, things you need to look out for, how to pay for college, and just other considerations. But before I do, I want you to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of this financial wealth building information. Why do people attend college? I think that is one of the most fundamental questions that we need to ask ourselves. Why are we going to school? I think when I was going to school, it was stated to me, Karla, you are going to college, without much thought about really why I was going to college. So here's my take on that. You need to ask yourself, am I going to college because I'm looking to go into a profession that requires a college degree, such as an engineering profession where I have to get a license, such as a licensed accountant, such as a medical professional? If you are going into a career like that, or think that's where you want to go, you absolutely have to go to college. But even above and beyond that, I don't want you to think that college is only about getting an education so that you can get a job. College is so much more than that. College is a foundation by which you learn how to take care of yourself. What do I mean by that? When you go to college, you're thrown into group projects with people you have never met. And your ability to communicate with them, work with them, push them, articulate with them is going to determine what your grade looks like. So it forces you to have to get along with people. That's one thing you need to consider. Something else you need to consider when you go to college is you're on your own. Teachers aren't calling roll in college. They're not saying, Karla, are you here? They could care less as to whether you still up to college class or not. Therefore, it's really a separator to determine whether or not you have the drive to go through it. So a lot of employers look to see that this person finished college, not because I need the skill set in which that degree gave me, but because that person has a degree, and that tells me that person can finish something. They're willing to stay the course. So when you're thinking about why you should go to college, you got to think about the bigger picture and really start to wrap your mind around other considerations as it pertains to college. So now that you've decided that the reasons why you're going to go to college, you kind of understand that piece, now the question becomes, what type of school should you attend? Obviously, there are a vast choices, but to break it down in a nutshell, you have private universities. Private universities would be like Yale, would be like USC, would be like Princeton, would be like NYU. Those schools are private universities and they come with a private price tag. You also have schools that are like in the UC system. You have UCLA, you have UC Irvine, you have various schools that are not at the level of a private school. They're one step beneath that, but you have to understand that those schools also come with a hefty price tag. And when I'm talking about a hefty price tag, I'm speaking about what tuition costs right now. When I look at a lot of the UC schools and a lot of even the Cal State schools, we're talking about upwards of $100,000 for 1 year to be at these schools. So private school, UC schools, Cal States. The state university system is also another way to go to a four-year school, but it allows you to attend a university at a lesser price tag. Should you attend a Cal State school? Something to consider. And a lot of the state schools, if you live within the state, they give you in-state tuition. If you think about going outside your state, now you're going to pay out-of-state fees. So that's something else you want to think about. It's really about keeping you going to school in your state. And then as we get past the state schools, now we need to look at the junior colleges. Should you attend a junior college? Should that be your first way to go in, knock out your general education courses, and then matriculate to the university? I'll be quite honest with you. When my boys were making college selections, I did not want my sons to attend a junior college. My thought behind that was I didn't want them to get stuck in a junior college, stay there for 3 and 4 years, and never transfer to a university. But we're going to talk about that a little bit later because I do have a success story around the junior college. But let's not sleep on trade schools. A lot of people do not attend trade schools. And trade schools, I think, are vitally important, especially if you're the type of person that just likes to jump in and get to work on something. You're not really interested in a lot of continued type of education courses that maybe don't directly impact what it is that you're going to do. Trade schools pick up things like plumbing, electrical, car repairs, and things of that nature. Understanding your options is really important when you're thinking about the type of school you want to attend. Now, I want to talk to you about my 4 sons and what schools that they went to. My oldest son, he went to a private school. The tuition was hefty for him to choose that private school. But why did I want him to go to a private school? Because I felt like him being in a private school and a smaller school setting, based on his personality and based on who he was the best decision for him. Because when your kids go to bigger universities, they get caught up with all sorts of kids from different locations, different places. That's something that you absolutely have to consider when making the choice of what type of school you want your child to attend. If your kid went to the local high school, it's going to be vastly different when they're going to a school where there's 40,000 students or 100,000 students and the teacher doesn't even know they attended the class, let alone their name. So something for you to consider. In addition to that, my next 2 sons, they went to a state school, but they went to a polytechnical school. A polytechnical school is a school that you attend, and when you go to that type of school, you actually choose your major when you walk through the door and you're already taking your major courses. You don't get to take your general education first and then jump into your major courses. You're going to take your major courses alongside your general education. What are the advantages of a polytechnical school? I think it's going to tell you very fast if that major's for you, because if you're jumping into those major classes and you're going, oh my gosh, this is not for me, you're going to know immediately. But when you go to a polytechnical school, it's also difficult for you to change majors. You may end up being in that school longer than you would have wanted to, because now you've taken maybe a whole year of your major courses that don't apply to the ultimate major that you want. So it's definitely something for you to consider. My 4th son attended a junior college first. Yep, a junior college first. Now, what an education I received in regarding this. He's an accounting major, and the junior college that he went to had a bridge program with the Cal State School. And the way that it worked, if you came in as an accounting major, you were guaranteed acceptance from the junior college into the 4-year school, and you were also guaranteed to receive your courses. By that, I mean, you never had to get bumped where you couldn't get a class. A lot of people can't graduate because they can't get a particular class. They got to wait. It's not the instructor that they want. Well, the program that he went to, he started out at the junior college. He was already guaranteed a spot into the 4-year university, and he was guaranteed a spot to get all of his courses. Was that beneficial? 100%. Why? Because he literally graduated in 4 years. There was no overlay. There was not an extra course he needed to take. He graduated in 4 years. And honestly, I was shocked by the cost of the tuition at the junior college. Now, if we back up a little bit, my boys went to private Catholic high school. So when the cost of my son's tuition to go to the junior college was like $300 a semester, I was like, can you go here all 4 years? Honestly, like it was really eye-opening to me. Real crux of the matter is make sure you do your homework when you're looking at schools. I would personally, if I wasn't needing a trade, I would start off at a junior college if I didn't need to have a 4-year degree that required me to go into medicine, engineering, or something of that nature. I would start off at a junior college. I would find a junior college that was a stepping stone to a university. And I would find out if they had any particular programs for any particular majors. What do I mean by that? A lot of the Cal States, a lot of the 4-year schools want students to come to their school and major in certain majors. Therefore, they put together programs at the junior college level so that they can start off at a junior college and then matriculate to the university. My son that went to junior college, he was accepted in the university that he ultimately graduated from, and he was accepted at other universities, but because he came by way of the junior college, I honestly believe that they put more interest in him because he was part of a special program. He didn't have to pay any money for tuition because he was in a special program and they wanted those kids to succeed. Therefore, those kids were getting great grades and he really went to college pretty much tuition free. The bottom line is when you are thinking about college, you need to understand why you want to go to college, what type of college you want to attend, and then even when you get into college, how are you going to pay for it? Because college is not cheap. It is absolutely not cheap to attend college. Not only do you have to be concerned about the tuition for the courses, these books are expensive. You have to be concerned about the books. You have to be concerned about the parking on campus. And if you are going to stay on campus, you have to be concerned about the room and board, the cost to live on campus and the cost to eat. These are all the things you have to consider, not just the cost to attend and enroll in the college. In addition to those costs, you also have to look at student fees, graduation fees, all sorts of fees. So make sure you really do your homework on what school you're going to attend. Look at the cost of attending that school. And something else you have to consider. I honestly do believe that if you have the drive, it really is not going to matter what school you attend. You're going to ultimately get to where you need to go. But let's not fall asleep on the private schools. Why? Because we know a lot of the private schools have the big networks going on. A lot of the private schools, like a USC, a Harvard, these schools have such a network that the people that have attended in the past, the alumni, a lot of them own businesses and they are going to hire from the school that they attended. They typically know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. So if you need a good network, think about that as well. Because when you are paying to attend college, it's not just about the tuition. It is about the experience of being in college. It is about performing under stress where your mom or daddy are not going to help you. You're not going to get a progress report card because nobody cares. They do not. You have to be self-driven. If you don't come from a family of individuals that have a network, you may want to go to a school that has a network. But do not think just because a school is private that you don't qualify for a scholarship, that you don't qualify for some type of special grant to attend that school. Apply for every single grant you can, every single scholarship you can, so that you can get as much of your tuition paid for as possible. So just to recap, is college worth it? I personally think college is worth it. If I had a fifth child, which I don't, I would want them to attend college, because I think that college is more than just receiving an education. It's a formation of an individual. Back in the day, people went into the service, men went into the service, right? Most people don't do that today. I think going to college allows you to really grow up and mature at a level that is not possible if you stay at home and just go to work. And that's my opinion. But at the end of the day, when you're choosing college, look at all the options on the table. Don't worry about what your friends are doing. Don't worry about what the people are doing in your golf club and your girls group, because I've been to those fancy schools. I know the pressure, the peer pressure from other parents. I know what that looks like. Make sure you make a strategic decision for you and your family and your wallet, because at the end of the day, you want to make sure that that college education is going to give you a return on your investment. And that return on your investment comes in a multitude of ways. It comes in the knowledge that you receive, the friends that you make, the network that you build. Those are the most important things. And I never recommend going to college in debt. If you have to go to college and you have to do it by going into debt, I do not think that that is an option. I do not think you should get educated and get educated with debt. Therefore, make a strategic decision, because literally it's your life. And you need to make the best decision for you and your family. And there's no right or wrong decision. It's just based on where you are, where your child is, where's the person going to college, and what it is that they need to get from it. So if you have questions about your kid going to college, if you want my advice, comment below. I will get back to you with the best advice I can. And if you need help filling out your financial forms or have questions around that, hit the link, grab a consultation, and my team will help you out.